Good morning. Welcome to Unity Temple Unitarian Universalist Congregation services. My name is Meg Herman. My pronouns are she, her, and I am very happy to serve on your board of trustees. It's my pleasure to welcome you all this morning. If you're here for the first time, thank you for joining us. We look forward to getting to know you, and we invite you to fill out the new visitor forms in front of you in the pew. You'll see it. For everyone present in the sanctuary today is welcome to join us in the community hour directly after service. As Unitarian Universalists, we hold the interdependence as one of our core values. With reverence and humility, we honor the interdependent web of all existence and our place in it. Now, Reverend Roger will introduce our speaker today.
Good morning, I'm Reverend Roger. My pronouns are he, him. It is good to see you all here today, and it's a great joy to welcome back to Unity Temple's pulpit Reverend Brian Sauter, who is an amazing visionary president and CEO of Faith in Place, which is an organization that has its roots in Unity Temple. It empowers people of diverse faiths and spiritualities to be leaders in advancing environmental and racial justice. Brian is ordained in the Mennonite Church USA, and he's a regular here in our pulpit, so I think it's time to say, informally, Brian, you're an informal Unitarian Universalist too. Whether you like it or not. Really great to have Brian back. And one other note is that this isn't in the order of service for the opening music, but it will be sung by Henry Lombardo, who is one of 3 of Unity Temple's scholarship recipients. We'll hear all 3 today in the service, and this is going to be amazing. And Henry will be singing Lydia, which is by Gabrielle Fauré, and Henry's teacher is Brad Youngworth.
It's 9 o'clock. Those of you who know me, this isn't my best time. Anyway, we welcome all of you, and we want you to take a moment now to greet each other. Thank you.
So our chalice lighter today is named Brian. Brian loves trees. Brian loves to look at trees, listen to trees, and yes, talk to trees. Let's join in our opening words. We are Unitarian Universalists. This is the church of the open mind, the loving heart, the helping hands. We take care of the planet Earth and each other.
Sur ta lèvre en fleurs Good morning. I'm Nina Brewer-Davis. I use she, her pronouns. The annual Women's Retreat in February is one of the many things that makes Unity Temple special for me. There's room to be loud, to be contemplative, and to wear slippers all weekend. I appreciate so many of the traditions and practices. In the last few years, I've especially appreciated the intimate relationship building and reflection in Ann White's World Cafes, the touching and funny contributions during the Saturday sharing show led by Victoria Storm, and of course, dancing together. This year, the theme was resilience. It showed up in lots of ways, but I specifically want to share with you some of the amazing and beautiful spread of art and inspiration from Jen Evans. The art explored many ways resilience is found and represented in nature, and there are just a few examples up here now. From powerful predator species like eagles, to insects like bees and butterflies, to plants like bamboo and dandelions, to patterns like the helix and the spiral. So there are some examples here, and more are out in Unity House on the doors and right at the Faith and Place table, above the Faith and Place table. So you have even more reason to go visit that. So check those out. Maybe some of the symbols will especially speak to you. I also want to direct your attention to the process of making art as a source of resilience. Jen shared with me that working on all this back in January and February was part of what kept her going through the months when the shock of the new regime was still so new and raw. And I invite you to practice the art of appreciating art together, especially within our spiritual community. I hope you will talk and listen with others about what resilience means to you. We can also think about all of our parts in this big, beautiful web that Jen has woven of interconnected resilience, and how to honor our relationships with all of the beings of our planet. Whoever you are, wherever you are in your life journey, you are welcome here. Please rise in body or spirit and sing For the Beauty of the Earth. That's number 21 in the Gray Hymnal. I think the words will be on the screen.
Please remain standing and join us in our covenant. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and God.
My name is Jay Cohen. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a member of the spiritual care team. We always like to say that this is the church of the loving hearts, the open hands. And one of the ways we share love and compassion with each other is by sharing the joys and sorrows of our lives. Of course, we do this every day through all of our interconnectedness within this congregation. And if you would ever like for something in your life to be shared from the pulpit, you can write it in the book right outside the sanctuary before the service, or you can email us anytime at spiritualcare@unitytemple.org. Please know that the team is always here to sit with everybody in times of joy and sorrow. The only item shared today was a joy for the Unity Temple Music Festival last night. It was a wonderful evening filled with incredible music and incredible talent. So thank you to everyone who made that happen. It was just a joy to be there. We know that many other people are carrying joys and sorrows in the sanctuaries of our hearts. If you would like to honor one of your joys or sorrows, we invite everybody to come and put a stone into one of the containers of water. There are 4 containers around the congregation. This water then represents the love that holds us all together. Let us begin.
Let's join together in a time of prayer and meditation. As we do so, I invite you to take a moment to center on the surroundings, whether you're here or watching online. Notice the people or the objects, the space around you. And take a moment to feel your connection to the earth, to this planet from which we came, to which we return. Honor that sacred connection that is always with us. and then take a moment to be attentive to our bodies, the thoughts and the feelings that are within us this morning. Spirit of life, Spirit of love that holds us all together. Mystery beyond all knowing. We hold in our hearts this morning all those who are suffering and struggling with physical and mental illness, with challenges in relationships, with addictions, with oppression and poverty, or any of the other many ways that we experience suffering. This morning we hold especially in our hearts those immigrants as well as U.S. citizens who are being deported without due process. We hold their families, their loved ones, and our nation's constitution and ideals. May a new day dawn very quickly. We hold and care our planet, suffering so much at our hands. And even as we hold all this near and far in our hearts that causes such distress, we also know that there are joys every day if we're paying attention. The joy of music and giving gifts of talent last night here. The joys of a beautiful spring day, flowers everywhere. And those joys which are in our hearts today. We give thanks for those joys. Amen.
We're at the time in our service where we have a moment for all ages. So if you are young in age or spirit, please come and join me up front for a children's story. Welcome, welcome. My name is Brian. And as Reverend Roger said, did you hear what he said that I really like? Trees. Do I have any friends who also like trees? Okay. I see some other friends. When you're in the forest, is it trees that you like to look for, or what do you look for in the forest? Toads? Animals? Yes. Well, I have a story that I picked out just for you all today. It's called Little Sap. Little Sap, the magical story of a forest family. So we're going to read this story together. And if something particularly strikes you, I want you to let me know as we read the story of Little Sap. Do you know what a sap is? Or a sapling? What is it? It's a baby tree, yeah. So Little Sap lives with her family deep in the heart of a very old forest. She grows near Mother Tree, the tallest and wisest tree in the entire grove. You see Little Sap over here, and then Mother Tree. Little Sap can't wait to be a mother tree. In spring, when bluebells carpet the woodlands, Little Sap shows off her newly budding leaves, glistening like jewels in the sunlight. In summer, the tall trees around her fill the sky with green. Little Sap reaches as high as she can, but she is still swallowed up by the shade. Will she ever reach the light? After the rains, Little Sap's friends, the penny buns, poke their heads through the damp forest floor to say hello. They bring sweet, soothing treats from Mother Tree to Little Sap. Little Sap wants to touch the sky. Look, Little Sap is growing at 40 years old. Here, Little Sap is growing at 60 years old, 80 years old, and guess what? 400 years old. Wow, that's a long time, isn't it? Is anybody here 400 years old? I don't know. You better ask your parents and see how old they are. Mother Tree insists that Little Sap doesn't reach too far, too fast, and guides her gently upward. Grow slow, little one. Take your time. Stand up straight. Turn this way. You'll get there one day. The slower you grow, the stronger you'll be. High summer is a busy time in the forest. Birds make their way to their favorite branches. Squirrels run up and down and all around. Insects chirp in a rousing chorus. And pesky bugs come to feast on the trees. All the animals are coming out. When Little Sap feels the bugs munching on her beautiful leaves, Mother Tree warns the family and sends a fragrant cloud to scare off all the pests. In fall, the forest quiets down and becomes a cloaked in amber. The trees shed their leaves and store food and water, preparing for a long winter slumber. Little Sap clings to her leaves as long as she can, gobbling up a bit more sunlight before the season ends. In winter, as the days get shorter and snow flurries dance around her, Little Sap finally settles down to sleep. What's this animal? An owl, yes. Every spring, Little Sap gets closer to the light, one day taking her place in the sun-filled canopy, a mother tree with a little sap of her own. And that's the end. So I invite you each to think about, as you wander in the forest and see the trees and the animals this springtime, to think how you're growing with your mother, just like a little sapling tree grows as well. Okay? Thank you all for participating, and now we can sing the children out.
Hello, my name is Terry Kinsey, and my pronouns are he, him, and I serve on your eco-justice team. Each week, Unity Temple splits our Sunday offering equally with a partner organization that aligns with our Unitarian Universalist values. This week, our offering goes to Faith in Place. Faith in Place has grown into a powerful tri-state network, including Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin, of diverse faith communities, organizing to empower people to be leaders in advancing environmental and racial justice, as well as providing resources to educate, connect, and advocate for healthier communities. We at Unity Temple are grateful to partner with and support this tremendous organization as they lead the way in spiritually grounded and justice-centered advocacy around 5 program areas: climate change and energy, sustainable food and land use, water preservation, and youth empowerment. We are also very excited to announce, sorry, I lost my place. We are also very excited to announce that Unity Temple will be hosting a virtual watch party on September 30th of the keynote speech by well-known and beloved author and activist Robin Wall Kimmerer as part of the 10th Annual Faith in Place Environment and Spiritual Summit. Robert Kimmerer is the author of the 2013 New York Times bestseller, Braiding Sweetgrass, and the 2004 book, The Service Vary, Abundance and Reciprocity in the Natural World. These books are available to purchase at the Ex Libris Library during our community hour. Also, if you're interested in learning more about getting involved and making a difference in this time of ecological crisis, please join Reverend Brian and his colleague Isoma Odim at their table in the church house during community hour, and they'll be happy to talk with you. You may donate by placing cash or check in the baskets that are being passed, sending a check to Unity Temple office with Faith in Place in the memo line, or by following the instructions on the QR code on the screens. May what you bring give you joy.
Before we read our sacred text this morning together, I want to acknowledge a few individuals. One is the Eco-Justice team, and Terry. Raise your hand if you're on the Eco-Justice team here at Unity Temple. Just a shout out to you all. You are one of 281 green teams, Eco-Justice teams that are working across Illinois, Wisconsin, and Indiana, taking care of our common home, being environmental leaders in the community. I also want to shout out Isioma Odom. One of the great joys of this work is your coworkers, the folks that you get to be in the trenches with, working together, brainstorming, dreaming, and taking the next step for environmental justice. So be sure to go say hi to Isioma before you leave today. She's at the table in Unity Hall as you check out the artwork. She is our Chicago Senior Outreach Coordinator. She partners with your local Eco-Justice coach, Dan Huncha, who works out of the suburbs, to partner with you all, build relationships, and this is a huge acknowledgement of Isioma's amazing work at Faith in Place. I also want to share that we have a few guests in the audience today. One of the great delights of the last 7 months for me personally and professionally is I'm participating in a cohort called Leadership Greater Chicago. All my LGC classmates, give a wave in the back there. They've come to hear me preach today. I'm the one minister in the cohort, and they're like, what's this ministry all about? And I said, come to Unity Temple, check it out. So I'm trying to be on my best behavior today with you all as a result. So welcome to all my LGC classmates. I want to turn our time to place a tag on a text in the Gospel of Luke. This is a reading from Luke chapter 18, verses 35 through chapter 19, verses 10. This is a reading, as many of you might be aware, that in the biblical text you can bring different sort of translations of the text to read, and I have chosen today to read from the BS version of the Bible. That is the Brian Souter version of the Bible. It'll be released by the newly forming Unitarian publisher led by Reverend Rogers, coming to you this fall. Please hear these words. Jesus heals a blind beggar near Jericho. As he approached Jericho, a blind man was sitting by the roadside begging. When he heard a crowd going by, he asked, "What is happening?" They told him, "Jesus of Nazareth is passing by." Then he shouted, "Jesus, have mercy on me." Those who were in front sternly ordered him, "Be quiet." But he shouted even more loudly, "Jesus, have mercy on me." Jesus stood still and ordered the man to be brought to him. And when he came near, he asked him, "What do you want me to do for you?" He said, "Lord, let me see again." Jesus said, "Receive your sight." Immediately he regained his sight and followed Jesus. Jesus continued on his way and entered Jericho and was passing through it. A man there was named Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector, and he was very rich. He was trying to see who Jesus was, but on account of the crowd, he could not, because he was short in stature. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore tree to see him, because he was going to pass that way. When Jesus came to the place, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, hurry and come down from that tree, for I must stay at your house today." So Zacchaeus jumped down and was happy to welcome Jesus. Now all who saw it were grumbly and said, "He has gone to be with a sinner?" Zacchaeus stood there and said to the Lord, "Look, half of my possessions I will give to the poor, and if I have defrauded anyone of anything, I will pay back 4 times as much." Then Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, for the Son of Man came to seek out and to save the lost."
Within the woodlands flowery gladed by the
3,226 years ago. A Sierra Redwood seed germinates along what we call now the United States Congress Trail through California's giant forest of Sequoia National Park. The perfect recipe, 3,226 years ago. A seed that fell just before first snowmelt, delicately frozen over winter, just the right amount of time until spring melt. Laying on top of the aged pH of mineral soil, perfectly prepared by centuries of fire and weather, the trampling of animals and the Kewisau's peoples. Fire and weather, old decaying trunks of previous trees providing the necessary nutrients. A seed laying there in that moment with a warming spring sun, persistent, not too hot, consistently 67 degrees Fahrenheit, not too much water, just the right measuring cup amount from the snowmelt. Only 15% of seeds make it, even with the most favorable recipe. 3,226 years ago. Germination, an evolutionary miracle. The seedling coat cracks open, the small root dives into the soil, the shoot strains for the sun, a leaf, emergence, a brand new tree. 3,226 years ago. Way across the world, same time, Shalmaneser III is busy making the Assyrian Empire great again. Aggressive rhetoric and grand monuments, the skyscrapers he built in Nimrod and Nineveh and Balawat and Assur had bold obelisks, so prominently displayed that even the most distracted passerby couldn't miss the ego of insecurity on full display. The obelisks show other world leaders paying tribute to his name. No name was better. No one was greater. When others want to give him access to mineral rights, he threatened tariffs and domination, always portraying enemies as weak. Shalmaneser was the chosen leader. Even internal uprisings and impeachments and lawsuits couldn't keep Shalmaneser down. 3,226 years ago. Fast forward, the year is now 32 Common Era, 1,993 years ago. Our California redwood is no longer a sapling. Over the last 1,000 years of steady growth, the winds from across the sea have whispered not only stories of Assyrian conquests, but also of Babylon exile, Persian rule, Greek empire building, and now Roman occupation. Her bark bears scars from the fires, so many oppressive fires. Her rings hold centuries of drought and storm, and still the redwood, she grows quietly, persistently. At this time, our redwood is over 250 feet tall, weighing in at 2 million pounds. This towering tree has roots that are only 6 feet deep. Her strength is not in solo depth, but her roots interlock horizontally with hundreds of other towering trees in the grove nearby. 1,993 years ago. In another part of the world, the emperor sits on the throne of Rome. His name, Tiberius Caesar. He preferred just Caesar, the real one, the only one. Big energy. You'd hear words like tremendous and unprecedented if Latin had equivalents. He was known for retreating to luxury villas while claiming to be the voice of the people. Publicly pious, privately paranoid, issuing coins of $5 million Visa gold cards stamped with his proud face, smearing not only political opponents, but also those close to him. For anyone who gets too close eventually leaves in horror, bragging about law and order while breaking those very same laws, ignoring and destabilizing the very laws that protected his people. And from his luxurious balcony in Capri, Italy,
the whispers of his words could reach all the way to the listening branches of our redwood tree. We've made Judea pay its taxes again. No one's done more for empire than me. They say I'm cruel, but I bring peace. Pax Romana, the greatest peace the world has ever seen. 1,993 years ago. Meanwhile, in the Roman-occupied territory of Judea, under the rule of Pontius Pilate in the town of Jericho, a wee little man climbs a tree, Zacchaeus, a collaborator with empire, a man of wealth but no peace, despised by the people, branded a traitor, beneficiary of systemic corruption, someone who had risen by locking his roots not with his neighboring community, but alongside Rome's crooked economy. He climbs because something stirs in him, a desire to see. The Spirit that day had cooked up the perfect recipe for a potential crack in his hardened seed coat. Jesus and the 12 were en route. News of a blind beggar just being healed had reached full community discussion frenzy. Did you hear? A blind man can now see. And now Zacchaeus climbed a humble tree to glimpse a different kind of power. And as Jesus walks by, the crowd pushing in, the dust thick in the air, Jesus looks up, not at an emperor, not at face-stamped coins, not at obelisks and palaces and monuments of ego. He looks up and sees Zacchaeus. Emergence, not cancellation. An opening for new horizontal roots, diving towards the soil with an unfurling leafy shoot straining for the sun, a potential new tree. 1,993 years ago. Fast forward, the year is now 1492, 533 years ago. Our redwood now stands over 300 feet tall, 30 stories high, towering into the sky. Her trunk spans more than 15 feet in diameter. She can't see all the way across the coast, but she can feel it. The tremor in the earth as the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria scrape their way across the Atlantic. They are the Teslas of today, wind-powered, fitted with Latin cells, compasses, astrolabes, and the latest naval tech for a voyage into the new world. The Santa Maria, a lumbering carack, the Nina and Pinta, swift caravels, all commissioned by the crown baptized by empire. They are sailing for Mars and Greenland in search of new worlds to exploit. At the helm of their multiplanetary quest, Columbus, a billionaire messiah complex in human form, claiming to sail for God and Queen, but clearly charting a course powered by ego. He's ready to plant a flag in lush, inhabited land and call it his creation. He saw the potential of markets, not people, ships, not forest, ownership, not wisdom. The language of nonprofit and social welfare and empathy is replaced by mandates for profits, merit, narcissism. Columbus sails with the blessing of Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand, draped in velvet and empire, sitting high in their palace, far from the storm, far from the soil. They don't row the ships or bleed in battle, but they sign the checks for Columbus and his boys in black, bold Sharpie, waving the flags and hats that declare, "Make our empire great again." In the name of the cross, expand the borders. In the name of the cross, bring back the gold. The flag that Columbus plants is not just backed by Spain, but by the legalized papal doctrine of discovery, that if you don't worship the true God, then we may colonize and rule. 533 years ago. 533 years becomes 406 years, 1492 to 1619. A nation is built on the first 20 enslaved Africans arriving in the ship White Lion to Virginia. Not passengers, not migrants, property, chained, sold, renamed. The building of a nation not on freedom, but on stolen people, stolen labor, and colonized land. 1619 is the root system of American soil. It is the ring we feel in the heartwood of this country, a deep blueprinted scar that lasts even in our Project 2025 today, 406 years ago. And yet, history tries to forget. Textbooks skip over it. Politicians deny it. But the Redwood remembers. And still our Redwood stands. Today, 3,226 years old, she still stands. She has survived through Assyrian conquest, Roman occupation, colonial invasion, the transatlantic slave trade. She has heard the boots of empire and the prayers of the oppressed. She has held fire in her bark and memory in her rings. The botanist teaches us that the redwood does not erase the past. She does not pretend that the wounds never happened. Each fire, each storm, each trauma, she surrounds the scar with heartwood as she grows. The heartwood at the center, the deepest part in the tree, has technically died. It doesn't move, it doesn't carry any of the tree's nutrients, but it is the strongest part of the tree. It wraps new life around the old wounds. It heals by holding on, not by letting go. It grows by remembering. This is not weakness. This is how the tallest living things on earth survive. 3,226 years old. May we do the same. April 27th, 2025, Earth Sunday, this present moment. My 11 years of leading Faith in Place, I have weathered many storms, cash flow crunches, leading through a pandemic, building and rebuilding teams. But this year has been different. Faith in Place is not a towering empire. We are a small and scrappy and stubborn grove, a diverse community of people in faith and spirituality who plant seeds in Illinois and Wisconsin and Indiana. We stand together with interlocking roots, rooted in the common air that we breathe, the water we drink, the soil we share. Our many diverse faiths and spiritualities bring all the ancient forms of wisdom, and all of them teach us how to heal our relationship with our common home. And yet this year we've seen fire. Faith in Place secured under the Inflation Reduction Act $1.6 million to help faith groups in environmental justice communities plant trees and grow canopy. This money was frozen in early January. Over 58 faith communities, churches, mosques, synagogues have celebrated their awards after months of preparation. In late January, our team had to make devastating calls, telling them the funds were frozen. The parties and celebration and the planning of the work to come turned to grief. In my 11 years of leadership at Faith in Place, I've always been able to keep the commitments I've made until that day. In response, we made a difficult decision to sue the administration. Out of a deep calling for a mandate to tell the truth, to lift up the local stories of harm as a microcosm of the larger trauma facing nonprofits, communities, and all of creation across the nation. While we had to lay off 5 of our 35 staff, our team came together, rooted in our interlocking values, knowing that we must stand strong in our commitment to climate justice, environmental justice, racial justice, and the principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We know who we are. We know, because of the Redwood, how to stand together. Today, April 27th, 2025, Earth Sunday. We know where we're coming from. We know, each of us, what we've experienced. May we all come down from the tree like Zacchaeus, and by doing so, further interlock our roots together, standing tall and strong like the redwood, remembering and speaking truth about our past, yes, all while participating in the delivering, reparative presence of the spirituality that we all share. May we grow by not forgetting, but by healing. May we stand, scarred and sacred, together. Amen.
Let's rise in body and in spirit to sing 163 in the larger gray hymnal.
Go like the redwood, deep-rooted, wind-bent, sky-bound. Drink from hidden streams of nourishment. Stand for one another, grow to the light, and let your life whisper, there is strength in love. Go in peace.
And let's join in the chalice extinguishing words. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again.